One of the main downsides of having a smaller 2.8-inch resistive touchscreen can be noticed when you're trying to compose a message. As you can see, even with my skinny little fingers, the QWERTY keyboard keys are tiny in comparison. I could hit sort of maybe 4 or 5 keys at least with just one finger press. So you've got to pay a lot of attention when you're actually typing a message to make sure you actually do hit the right keys. If you do hit an incorrect key, for example, if we just put an R on the end of the word test there, you can see it brings up the word that we've actually typed there correctly on the side, but then it guesses which word we might actually be going for. I mean, it's guessed year there and test there. So if you just press space, it'll enter year, which is obviously not what we wanted. We wanted test. So if we just hit test, there we go, it'll actually put test in for us instead. So it does try and help you out with the fact that it has got small keys by predicting what you're supposed to be entering. But sometimes if a word isn't in the dictionary, it'll just enter the incorrect word for you, which is a bit annoying. Each key that you tap gives you a little bit of haptic feedback in the form of a little vibration. Sometimes for some reason it vibrates a little bit more strongly. I don't know why. It seems to be a little bit of a glitch I've noticed. And if you should want a slightly larger QWERTY keyboard, you can just rotate the phone on its side and we get this nice landscape keyboard. As you see, nice bit larger keys than before, and you can sort of tap them with both thumbs more happily on the sides there. The only thing is, with this keyboard, I seem to notice that there's some lag. If you're typing fast or you've got a long message, you can see there letters can take a while to actually come up in the on the screen after you've typed them. So it's not perfect. But it'll get you by, and it is certainly better than maybe using the portrait keyboard, which is just a little bit too small, even with my skinny fingers. On top of that, it's also worth noting that if you didn't want to use a QWERTY keyboard, if you're maybe more at home using a keypad, there is an option for a phone keypad. So as you see there, we've got the usual sort of 3 or 4 letters per key with the numeric keypad. Or even if you've perhaps had a BlackBerry or something in the past that has a 20-key keyboard, then the compact QWERTY keyboard might be more for you, with slightly bigger keys than the full QWERTY keyboard, but only 2 letters per key instead of having 1 letter having each its own key. So it's a pretty nice little system. You do at least get a bit of option, but it's not as easy to text as if you had a proper keyboard or a phone with a larger display or maybe a capacitive display. And so believe it or not, the HTC Tattoo can even make phone calls. Who would have thought? And here you've got the dialer screens. You can see you've just got a normal dial pad and also some recently dialed contacts. And there's a nice smart search feature as well. So if we wanted to search, for example, for Jack Black, you can just hit J and A on the keypad there and we get Jack Black come up. Also, because the letters C and K are allocated to those same keys, we get Clark Kent as well, for example. You can also go straight to your favourites from here, and it'll just list all your favourites straight there in the favourites pane. Or you can just shoot straight across to all your contacts. Then you've got grouped contacts as well if you've created any groups, contact updates if any of your Facebook friends have updates, and your recently dialed contacts as well. The Facebook integration is particularly good on the HTC Tattoo, just as it was on the Hero. So if you just go into one of your Facebook contacts and go across to their updates, for example, you can see any updates that they might have made. Also in the same one you can see any messages you've got from them, any SMS or email messages, as well as all their details. Or you could even see any photo albums that they've got on either Flickr or Facebook, and then you can actually just hop straight into one of those and just look through their photo albums. So it's a really nice experience. You can see you can just search through and just tap on a photograph just to load it up full screen. So very, very nice experience indeed. Makes it sort of a lot easier than just having to log on to Facebook through the web browser. Certainly a lot better just to go on like that. So I'm just going to quickly show you web browsing on the HTC Tattoo. As you can see, we've got a browser shortcut there, but we can otherwise scoot across to the bookmarks widget, and you can see we can just scroll through and find whichever bookmark we want, or add a new bookmark quite easily. We've added Mobile Button at the top here, so we just have a look at that. And it's actually loaded up previously, so we just let it reload. This is on the Wi-Fi connection, so it does reload quite quickly, but we averaged around 1400 kbps on the Vodafone network in the UK, so the HSDPA is pretty quick as well. As you can see, it's all loaded up already. There's a little bit left to go, just a few adverts, but it's already moving around quite fluidly with our thumbs scrolling. Unfortunately, because it's a resistive touchscreen, there is no multi-touch, no pinch gestures or anything to be had, so as you see, as we touch the display, we get these 2 buttons for zooming, so you can just hit one of those to zoom in and out, which isn't too much more difficult. Unfortunately, the screen being a QVGA screen means that once you're zoomed out, the text isn't particularly easy to read. It goes quite blocky and unreadable. But it is at least quite a fast experience to navigate the page and scoot around just by swiping on the display. And if we actually go into one of the articles now, I can show you the text reflowing. Right, so that's loaded up now, and you can see we've got an image that's loading up there. And as we're zoomed in, the text has just reflowed to fit the screen. If we actually tap to zoom back out, you'll notice that the text then extends across the display a bit more. If we give it a second, there you go, you can see it's reflowed so that it actually fits the whole screen, the whole width of the display. And then if we just tap to zoom back in, it should reflow it back to fit the screen again. There you go, back in a narrower column so that we can quite easily just scroll downwards instead of having to scroll side to side as well. So overall it's a very good experience, especially for a budget Android handset. Web browsing is quite exceptional. So anyway, that's a quick look at the HTC Tattoo, the latest Android phone from HTC. I'm Russ Jeffries from MobileBird and AndroidAuthority.com.